ever wonder what the best mods out there for The Sims 4 are? In this video, we are going to go over what I feel is the best of the best mods out there. Here is my top 5 list. The very first mod I highly recommend for people to use is ILMC Command Center. To get to the options of ILMC Command Center, you have to have a computer. A tablet will work as well, but I highly recommend to have a computer. So you click it and then you will have this new option of ILMC Command Center. When you click on it, you will get all of these options for this mod. I have actually made an entire guide on how to use this mod. I'll link it down below if you're interested in seeing it, because this mod is highly detailed. I have been using this mod for years and I still find brand new things to do in this game with it. It is just crazy what all you can do with this mod. I highly recommend it. To go over a few things that this mod can do, you can enable autosave. So if you are worried about your game crashing and losing all of your progress, you can actually go here to autosave and turn it on. You can even tell it to save once a sim hour, once a sim day, or even put in a real world time and have it save at very specific times. You can even do it here, a pre-midnight alarm. An autosave will happen prior to midnight each sim day, usually around 11:55 p.m. So if you're ever worried about your game crashing and losing all of your progress, this is such a fantastic option to have. And this way you don't have to remember to save yourself if you're forgetful or if you just like to have that extra security. It's funny to me that autosave is not natively in the game, because before The Sims 4 actually came out, they did announce that autosave was coming in the game, but I guess it just never made it to launch. One of the things I like about this version of the autosave is it will not overwrite your current save. You can still manually save. In fact, you can put in an autosave a slot number here, so your autosave will always go to a separate slot number of your choosing, so you can still have your regular saves. So that way, if a sim dies or something and then autosaves happen right after, you can go back to your other save manually. So this is a really cool feature to have. You can enable adopt neglected child. This is an awesome option. I do have it enabled on mine. It says, if enabled, when it is determined that a baby, toddler, or child is neglected, they will be adopted by an NPC household in the world rather than taken away by social services. I love this. If your sim gets taken away in the native game, your sim kind of just gets deleted from the entire game, and I didn't like that. This will take your sim child and just give them to a random household. That way they're not deleted, they're still in your game. It's just an odd choice that in the vanilla game, your neglected child would be deleted. That's very odd to me, so I always have this enabled. You can change the game time speed in this mod, so if you want to make time faster or slower, you can. You can also make your household sizes bigger, so if you want more than 8 sims, you can have that. You can turn on motive decay and make the decay slower or faster, depending on how you want to play. You can even make all of your sims immortal, so if you never want anybody to die, you can do that too. There are just so many options. You can even tune your skill settings. So if you want to skill up faster on like piano, painting, whatever, you can fine tune it and make it easier or even harder if you would like that. You can auto pay your bills. So if you always forget to pay your bills, you can just have them auto pay directly from your account the moment the bills are due, which is awesome. There is even change bills %. This is a fun one because if you feel the bills are too small, you can make it more difficult in tuning this up. You can even turn on child support. And if your sim dies, you can actually have an inheritance as well. There are so many options here. If you hate all of the phone texts you get, you can even turn those off as well. You can have it be just festival text, no text, or anything of your choosing. If you hate losing your friends because of just not interacting with them enough, you make a friend and then you don't talk with them for a week and you've noticed that the friendship isn't as high anymore, you can change that here. You can set this to 0% so your relationships, once you have them, will never go down unless you make them go down. You can even do it higher than 100% and have it decay faster than normal. One of the big options here is set your age span. One of the gripes that I have with the game is that I always tend to play on the normal lifespan, but the normal lifespan feels just a little bit too short for me. But the long lifespan is, oh my gosh, insane. It is way too long for me. And I really need an option in between a normal and long, but that does not exist in the game. And I don't like to turn aging off because I do like to see some growth in my game, especially from my NPCs. And so I end up switching between normal and long just all the time. But if you have MC Command Center, you can put in any value you want. This is the teen lifespan, for instance, on a normal life. EA's default is 21 days. But what if I want the default teens to be 30 days? I could just do that here. I could just type in 30 and my teens will only be teens for 30 sim days. You can put in any value you want from 0 to 4,000. And you can do this with any age group in the game. You can do it all the way from baby to elder. And not only can you do it for the Sims, you can do it for cats, dogs, horses. It's extremely customizable. I mean, these are just some of the options. I haven't even gone through half of the options that you can do with this mod. So I do highly recommend to check out my video below if you want to see everything that this mod can do. And even that video isn't going to have 100% of everything you can do, but it is a good chunk of it. I am still finding things I can do with this mod to this day. You can really customize the game and make it your own with this mod. The second mod I recommend is WonderfulWhims. WonderfulWhims is a really cool mod. I've been using it for a while now, and I highly recommend it. At this time in the Sims 4 vanilla game, we do not have a chemistry system at all in the game. If you are an old-time player, you will remember the chemistry system from The Sims 2 and how good it was. This mod really feels very similar to how The Sims 2 did it. Pretty much, your sim will get an attraction to another sim, and they will just tell you who they like, who they don't like, and they will kind of guide you on what kind of relationships that they want. For instance, this sim thinks this sim is extremely attractive, which is a good thing because they are spouses. But yes, you can see it right here. She thinks this sim is extremely attractive, and I love seeing that. Beyond the attraction system, you get a lot of settings for pregnancy, relationships, and this also adds a period cycle for your female Sims, which is fantastic. I really feel like that should be in the vanilla game, but for whatever reason, it is not. But you can go here to pregnancy settings. You can turn your cycle on and off. You can have it available for your teens. You can control your birth control settings. You can even disable pregnancy settings completely. And you can also go in here to your attractiveness settings and really kind of fine tune it, which is just great. I highly recommend it. It adds a lot to the game. This next mod I absolutely love. It is called UI cheats. I love UI cheats because I tend to make a story in my head And then I want my Sims to reflect that story. So for instance, this sim here, let's say I do want her to be further in her aspiration than she is, but I want to start playing her when she's already further in her aspiration because it goes along with the story I have. Well, when you first start making your Sims and you plop them in, they're really just base Sims. As you can see, this just has the one thing selected, become an adult. That's the only thing she's completed. And if you go here, she has no skills at all and no job. What if I don't want just a sim that has accomplished nothing yet? This is where UI cheats comes in handy. So let's say I want to have already spent 1,000 on kid stuff. How you do this is you just click this. And as you can see, it has now been completed. And we can do it right here. Well, she is a parent. She has a kid right here. So we're going to right click that and it is marked as complete. And we're going to say she's done that as well. And obviously her kid is a child, so she has already socialized with them 10 times. And as you can see, just like that, she is further in her aspiration. And you can do the same thing with skills, jobs, even relationships. Right here, you can put in the exact values for your relationship. You can even delete it. I love this mod. It is so good for getting your family set up for storytelling. You can even do it for your money cheat. So let's say you just need 1,000 simoleons. You just click it and there you go. You have an extra amount of simoleons. You can also right click it and put in the exact amount that you want and click set it, or you can even add it on top of it. I'm going to add it on top of it, and that just gave me 50,000. You can even put in 1,000,000, 2,000,000, whatever number you want. You can even decrease their money if you wish. You can even change the time of day, the weather. Let's say I don't want it to be cloudy. I can click here and then choose sunny. Now it will take a minute or two for that to reflect, but it will. I just love this mod and I highly recommend it. The next mod I highly recommend is First Impressions. To demonstrate this mod, we have to go meet another sim. So here is a sim and we are going to do a friendly introduction. So they have met each other, and the thing I like about this mod is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's your first impression. The first impression my sim has of this one, Nature Maniac. Ah, one of these. Tree hugging, broccoli eating, beach walking. The Sims that think it's their duty to criticize others' every life choices because they're less green than their own or less healthy, be that true or not. That's how she feels about this sim. And this sim thinks our sim is responsible. This sim appears to be a very responsible person, capable of taking care of stuff and willing to care for others. So just like that, you have a tiny little story forming right here. I love that. And there are so many first impressions you can get. You can actually get the first impression of crush. You can get a negative one, as we have here. You can get a positive one, a neutral one. There's some really interesting ones in here. Your sim can just straight up dislike a sim for no real reason. They just don't like them. I love that little bit of detail. Now, you can go here to actions and first impressions and mess with this a little bit to your liking. You can remove all first impressions from this sim towards others. You can remove all first impressions towards this sim. So if you do get an impression that you don't like, you can erase it. But I just kind of like it because my sim tells me what sims they like, which ones they don't, who they get along with, who they don't, and then you can fine-tune your stories around that. It's a really fun mod to play with, and it can add a little bit of drama to your saves, which I love. And the last and final mod I highly recommend is actually in Create a Sim. We're going to go here to enter Create a Sim. And here is the mod. This is the More Columns mod. I currently have the 5-column version installed. There are a few different versions of this that you can choose. If you would only like 3 columns, they have that. 4 columns and 5 columns. I am playing on a 4K 32-inch monitor, so I have more than enough room for this 5-row mod, but you will want to choose the one that works for your setup. But I highly recommend this mod. I'm not entirely sure why the vanilla game only gives you the 2 columns, but it takes forever to scroll, you guys. These are just the tops. I have no CC installed right now, and these are just the tops at 5 columns, and look how much I'm having to scroll. It's honestly a little ridiculous, and this really needs to be in the vanilla game. Maybe not the 5 columns, but the 4 or 3 for sure should be natively in the game. And it just makes going through CAS that much easier. It really honestly does. And when I don't have the 5 columns, it just sucks having to scroll so much and find what you're looking for. Everything feels so cramped. I hate it. So yes, I highly recommend this. It may not seem like that big of a mod, but it is definitely a quality mod that adds to your gameplay and just kind of helps smooth things along. So I highly recommend it. And that is it. Those are my top 5 mods. I highly recommend new mod users and old ones to go get, try it out, and see what you think. If you have a favorite mod, let me know what it is down below and we'll review it here on the channel. I'm always on the hunt for new mods, so let me know. But I hope all of you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!